Well, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange is Africa's largest exchange by far, with the largest market cap and deepest liquidity.
Excellent. So we're adding this one in. Clearly, it's not an asset manager. They are the provider of the financial platform that is used in this country. Totally dominant in terms of the local financial market because they incorporated SAFEX and the bond exchange. It's been around forever and listed as a company in its own right, JSE Ltd, in 2006. And
the JSE Ltd has a market cap of 10.7 billion rand, price to earnings ratio 17.6, dividend yield under 2.83%, or around 2.83%. Did I misinterpret that?
That's correct.
JP, under the stewardship of Nikki Newton-King, the JSE consistently delivering on results. Obviously, the underpin of the market is there at this time.
Correct, and I'm glad neither of you used the M word in your introduction, monopoly. They're not a monopoly, they're a single operator, please. Big difference. The law allows them to be the only operator. The law also allows anyone else to apply for a license and compete with them. There might be someone now competing or looking to get a license to compete with them, but it's still very early days. So for now, it's the only game in town. It means that they are like a utility. They need to be careful about the price that they charge the brokers, the trading fees. But for now, with a fixed cost base, a variable revenue that's growing on the back of the market that moves higher, as you mentioned, it's a great model in a great space at the moment.
Paul?
And as we've seen, companies like British America Tobacco, Glencore and so on that have South African roots and a South African shareholder base have been happy to keep a secondary listing down here, so the turnover remains good.
We need to see maybe new listings picking up.
I think there's been a fair number of those, you know, like I say, those big ones, plus all the other small fry that come on here and blow the horn and do all that stuff downstairs there. I mean, it's all good. There are lots of new listings in the property space. So we go through these phases of new things coming along. And as I say, as you said, Nikki Newton-King and her team, I think, have done a good job of upgrading the technology, of spending money on capital, you know, securing their position, ensuring that the settlement side of things goes well. I don't know. I think the JSE membership firms are reasonably happy with their lives at the moment.
With this single utility story, or this single
operator,
single operator story, is this a good investment case?
It is a great investment case because you've got a moat, you've got a competitive advantage. People can't really compete with you. We've heard that someone else might want to set up an exchange, especially take over all the OTC, over-the-counter shares that the regulators are saying now needs to move to an exchange, and it might not be the JSE. It will be very interesting to see if this happens, but I don't think that their position is really under threat in terms of all the big companies. They will stay on the JSE. Most people will trade with the JSE. So if you take the view that they've got this sustainable competitive advantage, it's a company that at the right price, and anything except a very expensive price, is a good addition to any portfolio.
At the right price, 138 Rand or so. Yeah. That share price graph looking very steep towards the end.
Solid, you know. And I guess the only question is, would there be some sort of exchange control risk to them? In other words, companies decide they don't want to be listed here anymore. I don't think that really is the case, because we've seen foreign investors remain happy to buy shares and hold them through custodians here. And you've seen companies remain happy to be here. And exchange control has really sort of been lifted without the bureaucracy finally going. But so anyway, that used to be a concern of mine, a residual concern, but I don't really think it is as well.
JP, hot or not on the JSE Ltd?
As a single operator, love the business model. No one can compete with them. Hot.
Paul?
Yeah, and I think still a dominant player. Hot for me too.